It is finally here, the latest iteration of the story of Kratos, a brand new God of War, and at its core, it's still the god-busting, face-ripping game of the past, but there are some pretty big changes. I'm Andy Borkowski, and I've played dozens and dozens of hours of the new game and have compiled some things I learned in my journey that I really wish I knew before I started. It seems comically simple, but in almost every area there will be hanging crates with sometimes sizable stashes of hack silver. The style of crates are unique to the realm, but once you figure out what they look like, they all fall with a quick throw of the Leviathan axe. So when you are done clearing an area of monsters, puzzles, and treasure chests, spin that camera upward for an easy payday. While playing God of War, you will come across tons of different collectibles that are parts of sets. From Viking cups to masks of fallen elves, these items are reasons to explore, but there's no need to hold on to them once you pick them up. I know it goes against all of your collector's bones, but sell them, even sell them when the sets are incomplete. You can finish up the set later, and they even get displayed at a local dwarven shop. This goes for gear you don't need as well. If you ever sell gear though and have some second thoughts, you can always get it back from the buyback section of the shop menu for a very small fee. God of War is the first game in the series to give you freedom of exploration, which becomes available very early on in the game. It's encouraged that you explore every path and find numerous treasures. However, don't stress too much about moving forward when you can't get something or can't figure out a puzzle, because you will almost always have an opportunity to go back. Every area in the game that I found so far had a chance to be revisited. This includes areas in the main realm of Midgard and any of the other realms you visit. In fact, the game almost wants you to come back, stylizing side quests that will bring you back once you have that new power-up, so don't stress. I wish I knew this before, because I wasted a lot of time trying to break open things that simply wouldn't. The Leviathan axe is for more than chopping people in half. It's used to solve almost every single puzzle that Kratos will encounter. This goes for uncovering treasure and hack silver in hidden areas, but if something looks like it'll break, it probably will. Make sure you hit it with a quick axe throw to see what you can uncover. Plus, you never tire of how cool it looks when your axe just magically comes back to your hand from miles and miles away. The God of War series has always woven mythology into the story in order to build out its worlds, and this new installment has that same concept. It just goes about it a little bit differently. Throughout the journey, you will come across different lore collectibles that will be stored in Atreus' journal. Make sure you check in the journal whenever you find such things to fill out those little new gaps in the world, and as a bonus, they're presented in nice bite-sized chunks, so you won't really break the flow of the game having to read through a novel. You can also check the journal often for tips on how to best fight the monsters you encounter. Amazingly, this God of War game introduces some pretty high-level RPG elements into the series, and naturally, that brings about an importance of gear and stat balancing. The base weapons of the game, Kratos' axe and Atreus' bow, remain constant with some interchangeable parts, so always upgrade those base weapon stats as soon as possible. There's weapon runes, the 3 armor types, and a talisman will also be ever-changing. It's strongly recommended that you play around with them though to best suit your playstyle. It's okay to spend some of that hack silver to upgrade some low-level stuff because the game is very generous with its coin, but don't fall in love with an item because eventually you'll have to move up to that new tier or else you're gonna be dying a lot. There's a lot of gear checks, so don't be afraid to get rid of something because there is a limit and something new is almost always just a level or two away. The game almost completely overhauls the combat system. You'll still be tearing off heads and taking down beasts the size of houses, but gone are the days of smashing buttons until everything in the room is dead. Early on, you'll be able to just mow down enemies, but you'll quickly encounter things much more powerful. When you do, you need to make use of evades, rolls, blocks, and parries to best your foes. Remember to upgrade your skills to open up much better ways to cut down the monsters of Midgard. Lastly, that quick turn, use it. It's down on the D-pad. You're gonna die if you don't. Just learn to use it, because once you fight some big monsters, it becomes almost essential in order to get out of their way. I know this is strange to have this at the end, but I think it's one of the unique little things that I found out way too far in my journey with the game. God of War has manual saves. Yes, it's not about checkpoints that are saved again and not having an opportunity to replay a level. You can now have multiple save points and pop back to those moments to revisit it and play those incredible set pieces. Now, most of all, I think the most important thing is to come to this game fresh. Don't think it'll be like The Last of Us. Don't think it'll be identical to previous journeys with Kratos. The experience is entirely unique and absolutely required playing. I sincerely hope this gave you some help.
I know how to read, boy. Just not this tongue.